We welcome in Kyle Madson here to the show. I'm sure Kyle got Drake takes, and I shout out Joe Budden, smart businessman. He got my $8.
Oh.
I kept waiting. I kept waiting for the damn.
Paying for Twitter.
I kept waiting for the damn thing to post.
Yeah.
I was like, he's not posting it.
Yeah,
like
I was trying last night too.
He's not posting it. So, all right, I got it. I'll watch. You got me. So I listened to it. It's a good podcast. Yeah. There's a lot. Like I've seen clips come out of it. Like there's a lot in there. There's a lot. But the thing I love the most is don't come at me when I have something to say about you and you didn't say a single word when I hyped this album for months.
Yeah.
And you didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
But because I didn't like the album, you had something to say.
Yeah.
You're talking about you upset that I said you effing 25-year-olds. Bro, that's a line in your record. I stole that straight from your. It's a great pod. Yeah. He got my $8. Good for Joe Budden. That's a smart businessman right there. D'Lo and KC Patreon coming soon because we're gonna find a way to make more money out of this. Kyle Madson talking hip hop. What's up, Kyle?
You guys hear Stray Kids on the Lil Durk All My Life remix? My guys, Stray Kids, no?
I heard the remix came out today. I didn't hear the remix though.
Yeah, there's one with Gunna and then Stray Kids. Yeah, it's my favorite K-pop group.
Stray Kids. Never heard of them.
See, KC doesn't know the value of silence. I just would have stared at Kyle until the point like this whole thing got uncomfortable.
No, it's fine. You guys, everybody hates what they don't know. It's okay.
I saw you post about it. It was on your story.
Yeah, I'm proud of the homies, man.
I was like, yeah, it threw me off. I was like, wait, Kyle's homies making music with Dirk? That's kind of fire. Like, I was gonna follow up on it, but I guess I don't really have to now.
No, it's just a K-pop group.
That's good. That's good. We welcome in Kyle Madson to the Insiders right now. What's your takeaway? Let's start with the two teams.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, because I got turned up, man. You know what I'm saying? For this, I wasn't really tripping off this Browns 49ers game, but I got turned up.
Oh,
so we can start with the Broncos and Chiefs though. We'll get to the Niners.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I didn't know we was gonna go back in the Broncos.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask him his opinion on the two teams we saw last night.
I want to hear it.
The Broncos stink, and I think the Chiefs are as scary as they've ever been.
What?
Interesting. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I think their offense is going to figure it out. We have a big enough sample size of Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce figuring things out that their offense is going to figure it out, and their defense has been one of the 5 best in the league.
Defense is playing really well.
If you get Patrick Mahomes with a top 5 defense, that's potentially very scary.
So let me ask you this though: why can't they separate anymore, or so far this year?
Because it's week 6, and it's a Thursday night.
Well, they didn't separate.
Well, that happened with Minnesota too.
They didn't separate against Minnesota. They lost to the Lions.
Yeah, no,
they did. The only team they've really separated from, off the top of my head, maybe there's the one other game, is the Bears.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something that like I've seen, but just looking at history and looking at the Chiefs just kind of as a whole over the last 5 years, you're going, okay, I'm going to bet that they'll figure it out offensively. Because right now, you're right. They're not very good. Kadarius Toney has not been the player they were hoping he would be. Justin Ross has offered nothing for them. Rashee Rice has not been super involved. Sky Moore, not the player that they thought he was going to be when they drafted him last year. Their receiving core is not good. But I'm going to bet on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes figuring out how to be productive by week 17 or 18. Like it doesn't matter how good you are in October. They're still 5-1 and they're not even playing well. 5-1? 5-1.
No, that's right.
And they're not even playing well.
Yeah.
If they're playing their best football going into November and December, like that's what matters to me. And I'm going to bet on them figuring it out.
Here's my thing about that. And you're not wrong. Nothing you said is wrong. I understand that. I think if they got to match up with Miami, I don't know if they can keep up.
Yeah, maybe that could definitely be a problem.
Incarnation
for sure.
of the Chiefs.
That could definitely be a problem. Yeah, and if they don't figure it out, you would easily see why. Like it turns out Juju Smith-Schuster was the key to the engine.
Where's he at again?
New England.
They need to trade.
They
need to trade back for him.
Man.
They need to get him back. And then your thoughts on the Broncos? Well, you said
they stink.
Yeah, I was looking this up with Jesse. So I just did it since 1970 because there was too many. 346 quarterbacks have had 22 pass attempts or more and 95 yards or fewer. That happens all the time, it turns out. Joe Burrow did it this year.
Damn. Joe Burrow.
You know who's done it twice recently?
With two calves or one?
Just one. I think it was,
It was just one. Yeah,
And it was also
I think
bad
it was
weather.
Darius Garland.
It was bad weather. This was just a beautiful day in Kansas City,
well,
and this guy couldn't throw.
Yeah, Russell wasn't. I had to apologize to Brock Purdy today.
Uh-oh.
Because we were running through the Stephen Ruiz quarterback rankings. And so I said, okay, Brock Purdy's 22. How far are we getting him up? How many quarterbacks are above him are you taking? And so we just started rolling through that. And we got to Russell Wilson, and James is like, Russell Wilson stinks. Get him out of here. I'm taking Brock. And I was like, and I hemmed and hawed. I was wrong. I messed up. That's a poor take by me. I did a bad job. Russell Wilson stinks.
Not good. I've been telling y'all for years, but y'all don't. I swear to God,
here he goes again.
Start listening to me.
Kyle don't know the whole story.
Everybody,
so he really believes you.
Everybody listening to this show knows. Jesse knows. I said this years ago.
You know
if
what?
I recall correctly, Jesse and I both said it. I ain't gonna say that.
Sounds right.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say.
Hey, you know what? I remember that. I agreed with you guys.
See,
that's just crazy, man.
Now that I remember, now that you mentioned it, Casey was like, "No, I'm not giving up on him yet. He still got it. He's not bad. He still got it. He still got it."
Thank you.
We said, "No, he's done."
Thank you.
They always remember when I picked the Rams to beat the Eagles, but they remember that, but they forget the other times.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just know that I've been trying to tell y'all, man. It's a damn shame.
That's crazy.
Turn up. Go ahead.
Tua Tagovailoa has done it twice, by the way.
Is that a shot?
This year?
No, in 20.
Oh, I was like, what?
That feels like a shot. Show some respect to the 2024 MVP.
Dude, bunch of Hall of Fame quarterbacks have done it.
That's crazy.
Tua's on his way. Line up the gold jacket.
Russell Wilson, a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. I thought so too.
I thought it was. Our guys, Monte and Butch, say it's borderline closer to no.
If he continues this trajectory downward that he started whenever Damian said he did, if he continues that,
the hell?
whenever Damian and Jesse said he did, if he continues that and plays for like 5 or 6 more years where he's just bad, then probably not.
Wow.
Because you're going to have a sample size of him being really bad for a long time through like his mid 30s and into his late 30s. So that's where he gets
right
borderline.
now, like 33, 34.
Yeah. But if he had played last year and then retired, he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. So I don't know. I think it's borderline, but I think he's closer than
I think he is. I think he is.
I think he probably is. But you put everybody in the Hall of Fame, so
not Aeneas Williams.
Wow, that man has not bothered anybody.
Aeneas Williams, the only thumbs down for today's show.
Wow. Well, Jacob might have given us a thumbs down too.
Jesse,
so sorry about that.
Hey, Jesse, make it so Casey can't hear this. I'm gonna try and get Aeneas Williams' number and get him on your show.
He can come. I talked to Aeneas Williams. He is a Hall of Famer. He's a hell of a cornerback. I just thought that's the bar.
At the rate KC's going, we're going to book Aeneas Williams and 21 Savage here for one show and see how he.
Now 21 is my boy. Now he's my boy.
Anybody listening to KSFM yesterday
levels
knows that's a lie.
to changing a track.
Hey, shout out Sandra if you're listening, and her husband. Shout out to the homegirl Sandra and her husband.
Every time Casey says someone is his boy, it's a lie. He said it about Puka last
Puka,
week.
I don't know if I said Puka's my boy. I said he's nice.
No, he says that after he murders him.
Yeah,
so
it's like with all due respect.
Nice.
Yeah,
like with all due respect.
It's like if KC ever says, "Yo, D'Lo's my boy," it's like, "Yo, what the hell happened to this?"
What he say?
What did he say to Jasmine this week?
Puka's nice, man. It's just, nobody was guarding him. He ran into clear space and got it. Like, I just think I can do that. After the catch, I can't do that right now. But nobody was guarding him. Y'all saw the play.
Casey putting up 8 catches, 100 yards on the Rams every week.
Charvarius Ward is playing 15 yards off of him, and Matt Stafford's like, "Hey, run 8 yards. I'll give you the ball." Okay.
I don't know.
That's all you have to do.
Did he do anything different?
That's it.
Just guard him.
Did he do anything different?
Nope. He just ran 8 yards, turned around, caught the ball. No one was running.
Kyle, you watched all 22. Then in that game in the first half, they were 10 yards off of him.
It was soft coverage, but he's been super productive like every week.
He's nice.
Okay.
I just think I could do that.
Okay. Easy work. Easy work.
Oh, this is it.
Real
I picked this up like I was going to start reading it. It's the play-by-play from last week. I'm like,
real quick before we go to the Niners. You guys got any thought? I mean, and now this is becoming a epidemic, I guess. A former football player analyst against current player. Like, any thoughts on Steve Smith? Did you guys see that?
Smith.
What's Steve Smith do?
Oh, you didn't see Steve Smith?
Oh my God!
Go ahead, find the clip, send it to him. We're gonna have to play.
I'll tag you on Twitter. You can
we
look
need
up
to
Steve.
play.
Yeah, we need to play.
Look up
yeah.
Steve Smith on Twitter.
You will never hear me say a bad word about Steve Smith.
Man, that was crazy.
I have a double standard here because I thought what Dante Whitner did was whack. I thought what Rodney Harrison did was whack. I loved what Steve Smith did.
But Steve Smith, I mean, I don't blame it when he tells the whole story about what happened.
Yeah,
like I'm okay with what Steve Smith did after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tried. I'm not gonna waste. I don't want to spoil for Damien when he finds it. We'll put it up there and we'll play it. And there's some also little side stuff that's hilarious. Like the guy who's with him. And Steve Smith is editing.
Mike Garafolo.
Steve Smith is editing the conversation.
He said, and I'm gonna say ninja, and Mike Garafolo goes.
Mike Garafolo was standing like DJ Academics when Joe Budden and Migos got into it.
That was funny. Man. That Joe Budden walk-off was all time.
This was hilarious.
Was this on the pregame show?
Yeah, it was on the pregame show.
Do you know the whole backstory?
I don't know what the story is. I don't know
so,
what's happening here.
So Steve Smith has been very critical of Jerry Jeudy. And then
They called him a jag.
Called him a jag, just a guy. And then, which he has been. And then Jerry Jeudy before the game is like walking by the NFL Network set and like dancing around and like yelling at the set and like, you're going to feel me and this and that and da-da-da-da. And then here's this.
Yeah, Steve Smith breaks it all down. This is great.
Oh, let's say hello to Steve. He spends time with them before the games, telling them what he likes about their game, giving them little pointers, how they could be better. And these guys grew up watching him, so they soak it up. However, a short while ago, Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was walking by, and Steve called out to him. And he got a different reaction.
I called out to him because
a little long, but it's good.
On my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in the way or in the manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy. And so when I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response, Mike Robb and Bucky, was ninja.
Ninja?
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. And so I was like, all right. And then he repeated it. So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver they use a first-round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you, I would say no. Don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He can be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
Damn. All right, then. Hey, I ain't got no beef with Steve Smith.
Hey, but my whole point with that too is Steve tried to say, hey, man, maybe I was out of pocket.
Exactly.
I apologize. And Jerry wasn't having it. So he's like, all right, well, it's whatever.
Whatever. That's why this is different to me than what Dante Whitner did and what Rodney Harrison did.
I agree.
They just took shots at guys on their TV shows.
Yeah.
Steve Smith said, hey, I've said this guy's just a guy. I wanted to go apologize to him. He tried to apologize. Jerry Jeudy escalated the beef. And when you do that with Steve Smith, that's what's going to happen.
Here's the...
And I rock with it. I think it's great.
Here's the low-key part. Like Dante Whitner, sucker-ass Rodney Harrison. They called players like trash.
Right.
Like
exactly.
And what Rodney did was to an opposing player after the game.
Yeah.
He said that to Chris. He was trying to bait was Chris Jones into saying something crazy about him. Chris Jones, all pro, he's not having it.
Right.
Steve Smith sounds like he was just analyzing him.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little harshly, but that's part of the appeal of Steve Smith. He's like, he didn't say he's trash.
Right.
He didn't say he's garbage. He said he's an average wide receiver. Like, you used a first-round pick on a wide receiver you expected to put up huge numbers, and he didn't. To me, it's not the same.
Not even
I don't think
again,
either. Yeah.
It's strong. It's strong,
Right.
but it's not calling a player trash, or it's
Right.
certainly not what Dante Whitner did.
Right. It was really detailed what Steve Smith said. He detailed his career.
It's very in depth.
Yeah.
It was a deep dive.
I didn't think it was as bad as those other two. And also, like I said, when you talk about Steve not in front of cameras, coming and saying, "Hey, man, I just want to talk to you," and Jerry having that energy, the part of me also understands Jerry having that energy. Because it may be a situation where I'm not even going to hear what you got. I heard what you've been saying. So even if you want to apologize, I'm not like, my mind isn't when I see you, you're going to apologize. My mind is stay away from me, dog. I don't fool with you.
Yeah.
So I even understand that too. It just so happens that Steve was about to apologize and he never got an opportunity to.
It's also, you could have talked to him on the wrong day.
True.
Like, I assume it was a game day. I assume it was there.
It was like a 30 minutes before.
Right. So it was there. So he was probably already turned, knowing Steve Smith was going to be there, and he was already in a state of mind.
Right.
Rather, if they bumped into each other at Whole Foods on a Wednesday, maybe the conversation would have been different.
Yeah.
But everybody in a completely different state of mind on a game day. I don't fault either one of them for it.
You know what I
It's whatever.
respect? You know what I respect with Jerry Jeudy is that he had that energy for Steve Smith. Like, of all people.
Yeah.
Like, there's for me personally.
He didn't hit you with the Tyler Hansborough, "Oh, sorry, Ron" energy.
Exactly.
My bad, Ron.
I respect that, because Steve Smith is known as a trash talker, is known as a tough kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy didn't cower to him. And I like I said, I respect that. But I love what Steve Smith did too. That was super entertaining.
That was great. And my boy, what's my boy's name? The other guy,
Mike Garafolo. Hey, low key funniest part of it is Steve Smith starts to call him Mike Garofalo, which is the wrong pronunciation. So he just stops it. He says Mike Garoff, and then just keeps saying what he's saying, and they both look at each other, and Garofalo nods yeah, go ahead, it's okay.
Ninja.
I wish my man hadn't looked. Yeah, I wish my man hadn't looked at the camera. Just pretend like you don't know what he's talking about, sir. And
he's into martial arts.
Keep it moving.
Oh man,
just keep it moving. Hey, so 49ers and Browns this weekend.
Nah.
No, ain't no now. I'm gonna tell you why.
You know now.
I'm gonna tell you why, because
you give Kenny the controls at that Solomon vinyl, and he
turned
drops
up, baby.
a Trina record.
It turned up, baby. I knew I was outside with that joint, man.
We went from Anita Baker to Trick Daddy.
Yeah, that was Trick Daddy featuring Trina. That was the intro to Trina. That was when we first saw Trina. Although there's a video I saw way back when with Trina and Rick Ross. No beard Rick Ross. It was before he was Rick, like how we know him.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was crazy to see. He's flowing and stuff like that. It's crazy to see. But so I wasn't tripping, man. It was, it's Thursday. Man, gotta go get this game. You want to win. Possible trap game where you come off the high emotions of Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys, and now you got to travel. Now you got to play a team with a good defense, all this other stuff. I was just, real humble about it. And then I heard Mike Lombardi talking about how Kyle Shanahan has struggled traditionally against Jim Schwartz. And then putting some tea leaves together and things of nature like that. And maybe I'm assuming, but I don't care. Maybe this is Michael Jordan talking about the guy who said something to him who really didn't. He just made it up. Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
But I got a hunch that Jim Schwartz told Mike Lombardi this and said, Kyle, people going crazy over Kyle. He's 1-8 against me. He 1-8. Does that seem like something Jim Schwartz would do? You familiar with Jim Schwartz?
No, I think it's just kind of a known thing.
Who's looking at that?
People who are looking at the Browns defense this year and going, "Oh, who's our defensive coordinator?"
Man, Jim Schwartz told
Jim
him
Schwartz.
That, man.
And people then go, "Oh, Jim Schwartz, he's been around a long time. I wonder if he's ever faced Kyle Shanahan before." And then you look and he's 7-1, and He held the 2016 Falcons to 15 points and 2 of 11 on third down, and he's held them to under 24 points, I think, and every time they met. Like, that means something.
I'm not saying it doesn't. You think they're saying that about Vance Joseph?
I don't know. Does Vance Joseph dominate against Kyle Shanahan?
Nobody thinking about that.
Well, they might, and then they look it up and he doesn't, so it doesn't
Nobody
matter.
thinking about that. Jim Schwartz talked to Mike Lombardi.
Also, Vance Joseph had never had a defense as good as the Browns.
No. Jim Schwartz talking to Mike Lombardi.
Okay.
Jim Schwartz is that guy. He that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him in 2011 before the handshake talking crazy to Harbaugh
that was
across
wild.
the sidelines.
That was wild.
He's that type of guy. Absolutely. If it was a random, I wouldn't even think twice.
You think he's calling Michael Lombardi with that info?
I think he's talked to him. I'm not saying he like called like, hey, Mike, guess what? But I think they talked.
I think
and he's trying and Lombardi trying to get some insight on the game. Maybe talk to Schwartz, and they having a conversation. And Schwartz is like, yeah, he 1-8 against me.
Somebody at NBC Sports Bay Area wrote about Jim Schwartz dominance over Kyle Shanahan. Is Jim Schwartz also talking to Tom Dierberger?
Maybe.
Okay.
No. The whole thing, I don't know if Schwartz said it or not, but the whole thing about it, I just never really been a Schwartz guy.
Me neither.
So when I heard that and that became like a talking point, I was like, yeah, I need Kyle to go to work on this dude. I need Kyle to go to work on this dude, man. My boy, young Shanny, he need to go to work on this dude. I ain't been feeling Schwartz. I wasn't feeling Schwartz. See, like you remember it, but people don't remember before the handshake. Schwartz was talking crazy to Harbaugh across the sidelines.
Yeah.
He was talking crazy across the sidelines. I was like, okay, I see you, Schwartz. And then he got the handshake. He didn't like that. And as Jim Harbaugh said, I shook his hand a little too hard. That's my mistake, And then, it came back the next year. Home opener at Candlestick. Smacked them boys up again. Yeah, Schwartz, I got you. I'm turned up. Kyle, I need work, Kyle. I need work, young Shanny. Let's go.
Okay.
I need work, baby.
This game is not about Jim Schwartz. No. This game's about Myles Garrett versus Trent Williams. That's what this game's about. This game is about Myles Garrett, period. Because it ain't about Deshaun Watson.
Nope.
And it ain't about that Cleveland Browns offense.
Nope.
It's about that Cleveland Browns defense.
Yep.
Anchored by, for my money, the most underrated defensive player in the game.
Or
underappreciated defensive player in the game.
And you're not wrong.
Never am.
And that's
I wasn't wrong about Russell Wilson.
This guy, man. Pull up the tape, man.
Oh, we were right.
Pull up the tape.
It got left at Madison. It got left at the Madison
with
Avenue.
Will Kane.
Will Kane with the framed picture of Will Kane and Mike Golick.
I can cut that tape to where me and Dealer are saying Russell Wilson stands. Don't worry.
So here's what I say about that. You're not wrong at all. But they got PJ. I always want to say PJ Tucker. PJ Walker.
That's him.
Is playing against the 49ers.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be elements. There's supposed to be wind, possibly some rain and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He got to go up against them boys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying right now, I know the Browns defense is legit. They're one of the top defenses in the game. But I'll take Shanahan, Purdy, McCaffrey, and all these guys, even against that defense, as opposed to PJ with no Chubb and maybe no. Come on, man.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to say it. We all thought it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Pause.
Come on. DJ with no Nick Chubb.
Okay.
No, okay.
And
Yeah.
The tight end might not even play.
David Njoku. Did you see that picture of his face?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
He looks like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's tough.
It's nasty.
That's tough.
He played with it.
Man. So he's gonna have to go against a top flight defense, and the same elements that they talking about might be an issue for Brock Purdy and them.
That's why I don't think the 49ers are gonna lose. Like I do think the chances that they score 30 again
that's tough.
Are way lower than the chances the Browns get shut out. If the Niners go, you remember the rain game in Washington a couple years back, and they won 9-0. The Niners did. It wouldn't shock me if this looks like that. Obviously not as rainy. The elements won't be as much of an impact, but the Browns defense is that good.
Yeah.
Where you might see Brock Purdy throw a couple of interceptions and you might see the Niners struggle to run the ball a little bit. and they off the strength of a turnover, maybe deep in Brown's territory, and then maybe Deebo Samuel breaks one because they're not a great tackling team. They give up a lot of yards after the catch, but maybe you start to see those things manifest, and you see the Niners go win it like 9 or 10-0. That wouldn't surprise me.
In situations like that, let's factor in the elements, and let's go. Rain as are you? Even though you're probably living on the ground a lot, are you cautious with Christian McCaffrey in situations like that?
To be honest with you,
hey Elijah, it's your game, buddy.
Well, definitely not his game. He ain't.
Jordan,
Elijah didn't play one time, and unfortunately, he ain't never seen him again.
Well, I think he practiced this week, right?
Yeah, he practiced yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah,
he didn't practice on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's a veteran. Low.
Ty Davis Price like sitting there with his hand raised, and they're like, "All right, Jordan. All right, who else we got?
Juice.
Elijah, you sure you can't go?
Debo, you can run today." Ty Davis Price is like, "Hey,
3rd round pick right here.
It's me. I'm here.
3.
No, you got okay. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be over here."
So to answer your question, and Kyle, let me know what you think.
Okay.
I know you know this, Damien. You're just asking a question. These guys in the NFL don't think that way. If McCaffrey can play, they could be playing in the storm the Noah's Ark was in. They're gonna run Christian McCaffrey 25 times.
That'd be a television event right there.
They're gonna run him 25 times.
Okay.
20. Like, am I right? Like,
they're not, I think you're right.
I would think like
now
I would think like, maybe
I
have him run 17 times instead of 25. But
I will say though, if the rain is so bad that they have to pack in their passing game, I will say that you'll probably see more Jordan Mason, and you might see 25 carries for Christian McCaffrey. But if they run it 45 times, he's not carrying it 35.
True.
You're just going to see more Jordan Mason by way of an increase in volume.
Right.
So we might see a lot of George Kittle catches too. Those 5 yards.
Yeah, I think
because no one can get separation if they can't get their footing.
I think the wind is more of a factor than the rain.
Oh, that would affect
like the downfield passing, of that nature. I think if it was just rain and it was like relatively still, I think you see close to a normal game. But the wind, I heard it's like candlestick like.
Yeah, 18-mile-an-hour winds.
So I think that might play a factor into the passing game and how they run that offense as well.
Yeah. I just don't think I thought that this was a game the Niners could lose. Coming off a emotional game against the Cowboys on Sunday night, you got to go 10 a.m. kick. Cleveland's got a really good defense. Deshaun Watson, good enough that he can make a couple of plays with his legs, maybe makes a good throw downfield, and all of a sudden you find yourself down, 20-16 with 2 minutes to go and they have the ball. But with no Deshaun Watson, I just don't see it. Yeah. And I tried really hard to like, okay, hey, here's the path. But outside of Nick of not Nick Mullins, but Brock Purdy just totally melting down.
Yeah.
I don't
see it. Aside from Brock, like if they have 3 fumbles, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna take losing a turnover battle in my opinion, for the Browns to win this game.
I agree.
I'm going to ask you something KC asked me a couple days ago.
Damon, Casey.
Thank you.
Haven't heard from him since Wednesday.
I do a dynamite Mitch in New Jersey impression.
What's the 49ers' weakness?
Oh, that's tough.
So, okay, that's what I thought. So I kind of cheated the question, right? Like KC had an answer and I because we thought, okay, well, maybe the weakness going into the season could be the offensive line. And maybe you could argue the offensive line isn't as good as other position groups. But to characterize it as a weakness, it's tough.
I think very specifically the right side of their offensive line is a weakness.
They have too specific.
They have too many plays in a game where guys get through that side unblocked. And whether it's a matter of skill or a matter of miscommunication or a matter of scheme, I don't know. But I know when there's problems on the line, it's always from that right side. Aaron Banks, stud. Trent Williams, stud. But look at the sack last week against the Cowboys. Free blitzer from that side. Yeah, maybe it's scheme, maybe it's not, but it just feels like there's a breakdown on that side a couple times a game and they did a really nice job against Micah Parsons. I will say that. They threw the kitchen sink at him, and Colton McKivitz, when he was matched up on him, did well. But dude, it's Myles Garrett. Don't sleep on Zadarius Smith, their other defensive end. He is dynamite, really good player. Maurice Hurst on the inside. 49ers legend, Raiders legend, having a really, really nice year. So the Browns across the front are really good. So even if it's not Myles Garrett, they have other guys who can really cause problems on the
And
right
their secondary is really good too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Secondary's
Those guys are big and physical and fast as well. That's one of the we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Looking forward to this 2-week stretch. It's like, man, you got Dallas's defense and then you got Cleveland's defense. That's tough sledding right there.
I asked the Chatty House during the Insiders 10 to noon on ESPN 1320.
Check it out.
Because it felt like before the Cowboys game, people who were trying to discredit the 49ers or critique the 49ers, and this is valid, said they haven't faced a real defense yet. They have not faced a good defense through 4 weeks. And that's fine. I would have accepted and been like, you know what, you're right. But Dallas is a good defense. That's a good group. And so they go hang 42 on Dallas, and you go, wow, that was impressive. But the same people trying to critique the 49ers go, well, Dallas is frauds. Dallas isn't good. So I was asking, okay, I need to know right now, are the Cleveland Browns good on defense? And if the 49ers hang up 30 points on them, are we ready to say that the 49ers offense is legit?
Yeah.
Is this a real test or not? I'm trying to figure. I think it is.
Absolutely.
I think the Cowboys were. I think this is.
Yeah.
I think that I genuinely think the Niners will score like 20 or 21 points.
Look, to be honest with you, people don't want to talk about it because they're 2-2 or whatever the case may be. Pittsburgh defense is not a slouch.
Yeah, right.
Pittsburgh defense is good.
Yeah.
You know, it's really good.
Pittsburgh's won those 2 games that you referenced because of what they've done on the defensive end.
Yeah, absolutely.
And crunch time Kenny Pickett.
Well,
well, that's
I can't believe that happened.
That was wild.
That's money.
I have never felt worse for a quarterback than I felt for Lamar Jackson.
What was it, 10 drops or something like that?
Yeah, some ridiculous number and at least 2 touchdowns. Wild.
But to answer your question, Kyle, yes, like they handle this. It's one of those things. I talked about it when we were looking at it at the 2 games a couple weeks ago. It's not going to do anything for me with Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's legit. You know, he's that dude. He struggles on in this game, especially when you talk about elements and stuff. I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't know about Brock now. Like, no, he had a bad game in bad conditions against a great defense, a really good defense. So it doesn't do anything for me. But I am anxious to see. It was the combination of these games. I wanted to see how he did against both of these defenses. Destroyed Dallas, absolutely destroyed them. And now this situation is a little different. You got a defense that's just as good, maybe a little bit more physical in Cleveland on the road in some elements. I want to see how he does. It's a good little litmus test for him. Like I said, not to judge him as a quarterback because I already feel how I feel about him.
Sure.
I just want to see how he plays. I want to see how it goes for him.
First time facing Jim Schwartz, by the way.
That damn Jim Schwartz. Did he call you and tell you that?
He said, Kyle, I need you to bring this up.
You're the only 49ers reporter he, in fact, didn't call.
Yep. He's like going through. He's like, okay, let's see. Nick Wagner, check. Kyle Madson,
Schwartz. That damn Schwartz.
Yeah, Nick's article is going to drop tomorrow. Yeah, Nick's article on Jim Schwartz will drop for ESPN tomorrow.
Damon and Casey, I'm not calling.
I need Kyle to go to work.
No, it's not Damon. It's just Kenny. Yeah, I'm not calling Kenny.
I need Young to go to work on that boy. I need Young to go to work.
Okay. All right. This was just not a storyline I was prepared for today.
Kenny's got beef with Jim Schwartz.
Amazing.
I didn't like what he's talking crazy about. I never forgot about that. When he's talking crazy.
He is crazy.
When he's talking crazy to Harbaugh, I didn't like that dog. I ain't like that dog.
Lions coach?
Yeah.
Was that?
I didn't like that dog. Jim was minding his own business. Then he shook his hand to it. Jim said, you know, that's on me.
And it's wild because Harbaugh is such a normal guy.
Yeah, it's super normal. Yeah.
And not a total weird.
Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, I was listening to some last night. They were talking about Michigan playing Minnesota, and they beat the hell out of Minnesota. And the Minnesota coach, who's been around a lot,
PJ Fleck?
Yeah,
it's still him.
I think so. I think that's what they said. I can't remember. He said that's the best team I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're good.
He said that's the best team I've ever coached against. So
they're good.
Humble Hearts. Got a tough game
against
against
Indiana.
Indiana.
It's only taken.
Well, you know, I'm not even thinking about that. We got a tough game against Indiana. You know, them Hoosiers, boy. People think about them as a basketball school. That really is a football school when you think about it. They really get after it on the football field. And it's going to be tough with them coming into the big house. It's going to be tough.
Michigan by 30.
Easily.
You guys are discounting Indiana. That's a championship.
No, you're
program,
doing
man.
that stupid stuff that you do
leading
into
games.
games.
I've looked at the game. I've looked at the game.
One
This is a heck of a team here.
Matters for both teams, and it's not being played this week.
Oh, that's easy work. That might be the easiest game on the schedule.
It might be. It might be. It might be. 2 out of the last 15 years is still domination.
Oh, what about 2 out of the last 3? What about 2 in a row?
No, that's good.
What's happening?
That's good. What about 2 out of the last 15?
Is there a Michigan-Ohio State beef happening right now?
No, there's not really. I don't give a crap about Ohio State
Especially
anymore.
now because we be kicking.
But
ass.
now he just annoys me, so I have to root for Ohio State. Tough 1 week every year.
I'm actually, you know what? Now because my podcast co-host, who shall remain nameless,
yeah, he's not,
Ohio State guy. So now I'm a Michigan guy.
I never knew that. I never knew that.
No, he went, but he
Whenever
attended.
I see him in the streets, it's on.
He attended.
No,
Ohio
he's an
State.
Ohio State guy.
He went to Ohio State.
Okay, well, it's on.
Which explains
you
why
got to
he's
give him
kinda
like you got to give him a little leeway. He went to school there.
I'm not. That's fine. He gonna get these jokes when we smack them boys up.
All right.
Now I know.
That's the funniest part is he never talks about it.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, he is.
I don't think I knew he went to Ohio State.
Yeah. Oh,
Is he from that
He was
area?
an Ohio State guy.
No.
He just went to Ohio State.
Mhm.
That's what I would do if I could do it all over again. First, I'd probably go to a black college. Man, you see some of these homecomings that are going on.
Wow.
I seen Georgia State's homecoming.
Oh Lord.
Texas Southern. Lord have
Hey.
mercy. I definitely would have gone to HBCU if I had to do it all over again. But if I didn't, I'd go to like a big football or basketball.
I'd go to wherever Dion is.
I wouldn't change
I'd be in
anything.
Colorado.
I wouldn't change anything. I would still go to Sacramento State. Stingers up, baby.
Stingers up, baby.
Let's
That's
Well,
big
I'm going
football.
to Sac State homecoming in 2 weeks. I know that.
Come on,
I
let's
ain't
go.
missing. I ain't missing that again.
It's gonna be turned up.
It's right up there. It's like Morehouse and
Apparently, one of the
Howard
parking
and
lots
Sac
was.
State.
They was out.
Yeah,
No, they was out. I was
I'm
like, where
going
they
there.
at?
Yeah,
Saw it on Instagram. I said, where they at? Hey,
Mhm.
that's Sac State.
Hey, that's the women's basketball team. I'm going over here. Homecoming in 2 weeks. We'll see y'all there. Come through. Come hang out.
Yeah,
Coach
man.
Patrick, we're coming through.
Yes, indeed.
Pulling up.
Pulling up. All right. So everyone's on the 49ers.
I think.
I mean, I would have been far more intrigued with this game if Deshaun Watson was playing.
too.
Obviously, he's
Mhm.
not. I would have been more intrigued if Nick Chubb was available. Unfortunately, he's not. This is a hell of a defense, but after what they did to the Dallas Cowboys last week, I'm anxious to see. This isn't just can the 49ers survive a really, really good Cleveland Browns defense. This really, with all due respect to PJ Walker, this boils down to can the Cleveland Browns defense beat the San Francisco 49ers?
Yep.
And
I
that's
think that's right.
that's like a really, really good defense to like an elite defense. And that might be how they have to survive. Like that's the New York Jets mentality. Our defense has to win us games until Minnesota trades us Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
That's where we are.
The Niners are minus 9.5 favorite. They're covering.
I'm
I can
taking
see
the
that.
Browns.
Nah, they
I'm
cover.
taking the Browns. Although
Yeah.
I do that every week. Every week I'm like, that's too many points. It's gonna be, and then they just
It was the
smoke
14.
everybody.
Was that Arizona?
Arizona
Arizona.
covered.
They winning this one by
Mhm.
like 13 to 17 points.
Giants 10.5 covered. Now Browns up to 9.5. I'm like, oh, the Browns are gonna cover this one because at some point that happens in the NFL. A team has a bad week.
I wonder how much money Al Michaels wins or loses on gambling each week.
Thousands.
No one
Thousands.
knows the stuff. Like no one throws spreads out there the way that he does
Well,
without.
there's one person who did.
Oh, yeah. Well,
really rock
we ain't
him.
got to really deal with that dude no more, so that's fine.
Brent
But-
Musburger.
Mm.
But Al, you can't win a game by 10.5 points. Okay, Al, stop it. Stop it. Well, Kyle Madson, Monday through Friday, 10 to noon here on the Insiders. Of course, does great work over at NinersWire.com and hosts Candlestick Chronicles all by himself. Available wherever you get podcasts from.